Do you know what this means? It means that this damn thing doesn't work at all.
The woes of owning a fast car. So today, being a beautiful day, thought I'd drive the Camaro. Took it out and had some trouble starting it. I don't know if you recall, I don't know if I've had this on the channel yet, but every once in a while, ever since I got the car going, it would have trouble starting.
No, don't do this. Don't start with me. No, start, come on.
It was like once every 50th time starting, and it would just crank and not really start. You'd walk away from it for 5 minutes, go back, and it would start right up. So it's not been a big deal. It's not really left me stuck before per se. But today, it left me stuck this morning for about 20 minutes, walking away, coming back, walking away, coming back, walking away, coming back. Then it had trouble starting another time, a couple starts later, but it was a little bit of a crank, and then it would finally start. The last time, however, it was over an hour of just sitting there and trying to crank, walking away, coming back, cranking, walking away. So much so that I was really lucky to get it started because I had zero tools, any help, somewhere far away from where I live, and the battery was getting low. So I got lucky enough to get it started. I drove it back home. I gave Blake a call, talked to him. We believe that it is probably the crank sensor. You only need so many things to start the car, and the crank sensor is one of the vital ones. The crank sensor that I had in the car came with the Aristo GTE block that I got, so likely it was an Aristo sensor. I have it here with me, actually. It's pretty long. It's like 17 inches long. I had bought a brand new factory Toyota sensor as well, but it was for a regular GTE. I don't know what the difference is between the two, other than they do have different part numbers, and the GTE one is significantly shorter. If that's 17 inches, the GTE one's only like 7. So it's a big difference. The cable length won't work. So right now, basically what we're going to do is I'm going to bring the new sensor to Blake. He's going to try and make it long like the old one, and we're going to give that a whirl. I tried finding a new sensor for the Aristo. The problem is obviously the Aristo was not made in the States. It's all going to come from Japan. Trying to find that stuff is a lot harder than it seems. I called my buddy at Toyota, and Todd was able to find that there are 0 in the US currently, and he's going to try and work and find and see if he can get one for me at some point in time. I went online and looked, and I found 3. I found one that was made in China, and it'll take a month to get here. I found another one that was used, which doesn't really put me in too much of a better spot than where I'm at currently. And then the other one seemed like it was a legit Aristo crank sensor new, but I'm looking at like 2 months before it would finally get here. Thank you for slow shipping prices. So we're going to attempt to see if we can do with what we have and see if that works. I'm not even 100% sure at the time of shooting this that is the culprit. It's just what we believe to be the problem right now. So I'm gonna drop this off with Blake. He's gonna fix it. We're gonna install it, and we'll roll the dice and see if that fixes the problem. If not, not sure where we'll go from then, but one step at a time.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Got the sensor back from Blake. So all he did was basically extend this guy, the new one, to make it just as long as the old one. Looks pretty much the same. It's a different part number on it. I'm assuming that has to do more with just the length of the sensor and not the sensor itself, or at least we're going to hope. At the same time, talking to Blake, he seems to believe that had it been a factory ECU, and it may be a little bit more picky on what it's reading, but given that it's a Haltech and they have a wide array of things they can sense, and it's pretty much doing the same thing. I mean, this is a 2JZ GTE crank sensor, and it is a 2JZ GTE block, so it should in theory work just fine. So I'm going to put it in, put it back together, and give her a few cranks and see hopefully if this fixes the issue. Crank sensor's installed. Got everything zip tied back the way it was originally there. Everything should be plugged in and ready to go. So let's give her a crank and well, see what she does. Running all right. The crank just a little bit at first. That may just be due to the colder weather. It's turning a little bit cold outside here and raining, of course. So not entirely sure if it's working or not. Even when it was not wanting to start, it would start every once in a while. So it's going to be one of those things. I'm just going to drive it a little bit, put some time behind it and find out. But I think initially, at least with the cranking off there, we may be all right. We'll have to see. Well, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And until next time.